to Beware Spoilers. I am Adam. We're here to talk about Under the Banner of Heaven. Now, I think that, I woke up this morning and I guess last night was the first screenings, the first public screenings of Multiverse of Madness, and responses are pretty good. And again, these early screenings are always going to have very positive buzz, regardless of quality, because a lot of it is, people related to people who are in the movie, or people who are in the movie, or people who worked on the movie, or, press who likes Marvel movies. So it's like seeing, people talk about the movie positively doesn't always necessarily correlate to good reviews from these early reviews, but we'll see. I'm looking forward to it. I'm seeing it Thursday night in 2 days, and thankfully, I've said this before, the movie is only 2 hours long, and I love that. If a movie, you can get a movie in, I don't know, for 2.5 hours to get the full story, fantastic. That bus should not have made that maneuver. This motherfucker's gonna hold up traffic. Okay, all of these motherfuckers are gonna hold up traffic. So, let's talk about Under the Banner of Heaven, which is today's topic of conversation, the new Andrew Garfield show on the Hulus, which will be his, I think it's his last thing for a little bit. I think he said he's taking a break from acting. And Andrew Garfield's had a tremendous, year or two, because, forgetting his reprisal and reclaiming of his Spider-Man, where, I think that was kind of part of the biggest, thing about all of a sudden people loving his Spider-Man, was people hated his Spider-Man for a long time. His Spider-Man was absolutely detested by a good amount of audience members. And I feel like, that was very easily forgotten with No Way Home. And the reason that this kind of, worked in his favor here was because he was given a chance to play Spider-Man properly. And then time has passed. Time heals all wounds, so that kind of worked in his favor too. But more or less, he's also Spider-Man the entire time he's in the movie. He doesn't have to worry about the secret identity aspect of it, where he's got to play Peter Parker to an extent instead of, being Spider-Man. Because I think that, it is kind of the anonymity of being under the mask allows him to unleash a little bit more. So I think that idea kind of plays here. What was the other one? Oh yeah. Miles Morales would have more of a reason to end up in... Miles Morales from Spider-Verse would have more of a reason to end up in... in the base universe than, what's his name? Than Electro. Because Electro did not know Peter Parker was Spider-Man, because that was the key thing to get moved across universes, was that you needed to know that Peter Parker was Spider-Man. And Electro did not know that, as evidenced by his line, I thought you were going to be white, I thought you were going to be black. But we're getting way off topic here. But besides that, he also had Tick, Tick, Boom, which is one of my favorite movies from last year, where he played Jonathan Larson, who was the creator of, the creator of, Rent. And just a great all-around, movie. Very well done. And he's fantastic in it. He played, Baker in The Eyes of Tammy Faye. He played her husband. And he's just been having a very good time of it. And I think that a lot of it is, people were very quick to dismiss as, oh, he's Spider-Man. And he's a Spider-Man we don't like. In the same way that, we see, oh, Tobey Maguire's playing Charlie Chaplin. And people are like, oh, well, that'll be good, because we like Tobey Maguire. And it's like, let's see how the movie is. Let's see how it plays. Let's see how it goes before we roundly dismiss or roundly praise a decision. And I think people were quick to dismiss movies that had Andrew Garfield in it because of that. But he was good. He's been good in basically everything he was in. And, to be fair, he's good in his 2 Spider-Man movies. It's just the 2 Spider-Man movies he's in are not good. He is, Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2. Amazing Spider-Man 2, despite having some of, the most interesting visual, Spider-Man fight sequences, it's not a good movie. It's just not. It's it's not boring per se, but it is, it is a bit of a slog, and, that sequence, though, with him trying to rescue, what's her name? Gwen Stacy is fantastic, and it's fun. It's a heart-wrenching, sequence, and it's very well done. His fights with Electro were all great and really cool. Unlike, Peter Parker in, No Way Home and in, to a lesser extent, not No Way Home, Far From Home, lesser extent, Homecoming especially, he relies on the the Spider-Man powers, the swinging, the momentum that comes with the swinging, all of that. He relies on that a lot more, and uses that to his advantage instead of just punchy, which is always a positive. But looking at, what he's done here, he's got another great acting performance. But I think the problem with this show, Under the Banner of Heaven, is it's only the acting performance that's shining through. It's only Andrew Garfield's great performance that's making this show continuously watchable. Where it's all of this stuff about Mormonism is, cool, and I think laying out the issues that come with, I don't want to say cultish behavior, but there is a little, it is portraying Mormonism as kind of a cult, and they go out of their way to do that in a way that, Big Love never did, which was the HBO show about the Mormon family, with the 3 wives. But, the idea that, when you watch this show, it's they're all devout Mormons, and they're all talking about, they refer to Heavenly Father a lot, and it's it's one of those things where it's if this was Jonestown, you'd be oh, this is fucked up, but these are Mormons, so you're oh, okay, that's just a sect of Catholicism, so I guess it's okay. It's a weird kind of, thing you gotta wrap your head around while you're watching, but, and it's done to effect. It's gotta be done on purpose, with the intent to, with the intent to be oh, so this is, this is what we're, what we're doing. And we're doing this to make it look like a cult on purpose, and be oh, so we are, this is the big, the big deal. It's an interesting adjustment that the viewer has to make, as they're watching. It's an interesting kind of thing that needs to happen. But I think that the other problem is it's one of those things where it's not so much a problem with the show, but a problem with how the show will be perceived. There is the problem that there are segments of the population that believe that Hollywood is out there to demonize, Christians and demonize Christian America. And they don't make good Christian stories anymore, which is why, Hallmark was such a big thing for a long time, the Hallmark Channel. And then once the Hallmark Channel got too liberal, if that's possible, which I don't think it has, I think it was still very conservative, but it got too liberal. So now there's Great American Country Family, which is even more conservative. And it's look, you guys got your thing. If people want to watch this, they got this. And the issue is, this is a true story. And all of the aspects that go into it, the idea of the not accepting of outsiders and the xenophobia that goes with that, and, that all comes from reality. And not even, oh, well, anecdotally, we heard this story, and then that was the, and then we were, we're trying to fit it into this narrative. No, this is this story, this specific story about this murder. And I think that the ultimate problem that I have with this, is that Hulu's other shows have been really good. Hulu's other 2 true crime shows that I've watched have been really good. The Dropout with Amanda Seyfried as Elizabeth Holmes was really good. Even if, to the point where I was willing to put aside my misgivings regarding, certain motivation questions that still lingered in a show about what she did. And it's and what she did was fraud. So, that is one big thing. That was a very well done show. Then on the other side was, the other show, which was, what's it called? The Girl from Plainville, which, has done a lot, it's done a lot of, interesting storytelling, where it's, portraying the conversations over text as a spoken conversation is unique. It's something that's never been done before on a TV show. And it's something that adds to what's going on. So you get a lot of things like that, where it's oh, this is cool, this is cool, this is cool, this is cool. But at the end of the day, the question remains, well, what is this show going to do that's better or worse than other things to make it stand out? And what we have is it's kind of like Joker in that way, where Joker is a perfectly passable movie. It is a fine movie. And the only thing that makes Joker great and makes Joker watchable to an extent is not Heath Ledger, is Joaquin Phoenix's performance as the Joker. If it doesn't have that performance, the movie is nothing. If it doesn't have that performance leading it and carrying it, the movie is absolutely nothing. So it requires that performance. And to an extent, this show is that. But it's just also not it's also not a movie. In 2 hours, we're not close to resolving the plot in a meaningful way. In a way that watching Joker, the movie's done in at most 2.5 hours. I don't remember the exact runtime. So you gotta stick with it to get the resolution you're looking for. Now, do I think the show will improve? I can't say definitively that the show will get better or the show will get worse. I don't know. I would certainly hope it improves. But just, in a world of, the other shows that Hulu is making, and their other, because they really dived full-faced into the true crime, where, since the Dropout started, probably even before that too. I guess the Dropout was the first one to fall into my radar. But since the Dropout started, they haven't done they haven't had a period where there was no true crime show running. And this is going to run for a few weeks too, and it's going to give me something else to watch on top of The Flash and the other ones. And I will eventually get around to watching Severance on Apple TV. But yeah, what we're looking at here is underwhelming, but not underwhelming to the point where I'm going to stop watching, if that makes sense. Which is, a fine line to walk. Ideally, the show would have me wanting to continue watching, instead of just being like, well, I watched 2 episodes, I think I got what's going on here. Which, could be said about the Michelle Carter show. Where it's like, look, I watched the first 3 episodes, and I understood what they were going for, and I understood what happened, and I didn't really need to see more. But there was also that scene at the end of, I think it was episode 1, that kind of hooks you in, which is the scene that shows Michelle's initial neuroses and her break from reality to an extent. The scene where she's, doing the speech from Glee. in time with what's her name, Liam Michelle's character, Rachel, and the fact, like, that scene is so well done and so, and well acted and everything, that it makes you go like, okay, this girl is crazy, I want to see more and see how this happened. The show hasn't exactly delivered on that, but we will, we'll talk about that more tomorrow after the finale, which comes out today. So Under the Banner of Heaven you can watch on Hulu. It comes out every Thursday, and it is available to, it's included in your Hulu subscription. And if you have the Disney Plus bundle, you get the, what's it called? You get the, you get to watch that. Might as well use it. So what else do we have this week? So tonight, the girl from Plainview, girl from Plainville. Again, Plainview is a town on Long Island. I keep calling it that because I've heard Plainview all my life. Plainville. Then tomorrow, that'll be tomorrow morning. Thursday morning, will be, what the fuck is the word? The following morning will be Thursday morning. That's the word I'm looking for. I am very tired today. I apologize. Thursday morning will be Moon Knight's finale. Then Thursday evening we have Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, which will probably be our only movie this week. Friday morning we have The Flash, and then Friday evening, if I watch both, it'll be Under the Banner of Heaven and what's it called? It'll be Under the Banner of Heaven in the evening, so that'll be going on there. Next weekend I may review Crush, the Hulu original movie, just to see, what that's all about, because I need more content. Crush may be on the list too. So I'm just about at work. We'll wrap up there for today, and we'll be back with all of this cool stuff as the week progresses. I think I gotta be more picky and choosy with what TV I cover, because the amount of TV I cover, it's a little obscene. The Girl from Plainview is ending this week, so it's not like that's gonna be going on and on and on past this point. It's like it's ending this week, so that'll be done, and then we'll be moving on from there. So we'll be back with all of that, and until then, if you want to hear what my thoughts on CinemaCon are, head over to 30-Minute Reviews, where we have CinemaCon coverage, and coverage of Fantastic Four directors leaving, the departure of Justin Lin from from Fast 10, and all of the other things. So if you want to hear all of that and more, head over to head over to 30-Minute Reviews, where I have those up. So until then, have a great rest of your week.